In this episode of The Landscape, I got a chance to speak with Anca, who's a distinguished engineer at IBM, about the growing challenge of continuous compliance in highly regulated environments. Anca introduces OSCAL Compass, a CNCF sandbox project that helps teams automate governance and risk management using compliance as code standards, and explains how tools like Kyverno and OPA bring those policies to life within Kubernetes. Check out the episode. Let us know what you think.
Hi, my name is Anca Sailer. I'm a distinguished engineer at IBM, and I'm focused on governance, compliance, and risk.
Very good. Now, tell me about some of the major challenges that people are facing when it comes to governance, compliance, and risk.
Okay, so these days we see new technology emerging, like AI. We have a lot of data breaches due to operational issues. So we see more and more regulatory requirements, whether in the AI space or like DORA in operational resiliency. And the teams who are typically used to have a yearly or quarterly audit for a few regulations are faced right now to be able to support all these very different regulations. And the industry is moving towards continuous compliance, meaning that instead of annual or quarterly, it has to be done every day, every 12 hours. So the biggest problem is being able to provide that automation.
Okay. And how is OSCAL Compass helping you with that?
Okay, so the first step that you need to do towards compliance automation is having a standard. And OSCAL is a standard for compliance as code. It stands for Open Security Control Assessment Language. It is a standard that is provided by NIST, is in open source. And the OSCAL Compass is a new CNCF sandbox project that implements an SDK for OSCAL. It implements a platform on top of the SDK that allows the various compliance personas to collaborate with each other, but focusing on their individual artifacts. And we also have a compliance to policy project that allows to push those authored artifacts to runtime to actively monitor on a continuous basis.
Very good. And you're at KubeCon. What's the story with this, with OSCAL and Kubernetes?
Well, compliance applies at different fields, as I mentioned, AI, cybersecurity, finances. It also applies to all the levels in the stack: operating system, virtualization, Kubernetes, containers, PaaS, SaaS, and so on. So we need very much this in the context of Kubernetes. We are working with two major policy engines, Kyverno and OPA, Open Policy Engine. So the way that compliance digitization works, the compliance as code part allows you to edit and author the artifacts, and then you push those at the engines so that at runtime you have the actual evaluation of the policies. So this is in the context of Kubernetes what Kyverno and OPA are helping with. So we are having a synergy between the authoring of the regulatory part and the actual execution with these engines at runtime.
Great. Now, a lot of the startups here, it's their dream to work with large-scale enterprises, and those are often highly regulated. For startups that are interested in doing that while using open source technologies, what are really important things that they need to keep in mind?
If they are working in regulated environments, right, and really as startups, I would expect they target the next generation technology, they should really embrace continuous compliance. This is something that offers them on a platter, that technology. They really need to pay attention at the different type of policy engines. There is not one size fitting all in the stack, and always also depending on the domain. So the compliance as code and the OSCAL Compass project allows them, through the plug and play type of architecture for our compliance to policy project, to create the various plugins for those different policy engines. So I would advise them to make sure that the type of policy that they select is meeting the needs of the type of policies that they need to support. So for instance, if we are talking, they are heavy on configuration, like infrastructure as code or cloud infrastructure, cloud configuration, engines that are declarative in nature is more appropriate. If we are talking about regulations like DORA in a startup for a financial environment, we are talking more about imperative type of policies like auditory. I'm giving example from the open source, but obviously in the industry, you have technology and products that support that. But in the open source, yes, policies that policy engines that are more imperative will help with batch processing or the type of procedures that are expected in an operational in an environment where the operations are controlled.
And if people want to get involved and contribute, how can they do that?
Oh, I think if you are able to get them the QR code that I'm going to show, they can go directly to the link of the project. They can also search for OSCAL Compass in Google it, or search for the CNCF project. They will find a landing page that provides the 3 projects, as I mentioned: Trestle, the OSCAL SDK, Agile Authoring, which is the platform for authoring on top of the SDK, and the compliance to policy that allows them to use the existing plugins for the supported policy engines or contribute their own plugin for the policy engine of their choice. They also have a lot of tutorials. The demo that you see there is an end-to-end that we have been asked to do at KubeCon NA, that takes you step by step with a playbook on the repo and with a YouTube video, all the steps that you need to do to cover end-to-end everything that you need for compliance digitization.